Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
This is War Cry. We're on the wall crying out for our children, our communities, our schools, our churches, our families. This is War Cry. Welcome to our reality. Gun violence. Chicago, Philly, Detroit, New York, Atlanta, just to name a few. Our black children are dying day by day. This is War Cry. Police brutality. Hands up! Don't move. I can't breathe. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag All Lives Matter to Christ. This is War Cry. Drugs, rape, mass shootings, school violence. This is War Cry. Galvanizing people to pray for our children and to take action. Let's march on Washington. We want prayer back in school. This is War Cry. Cameras, memorials in every corner in our neighborhood. Who died this weekend? Oh no, not Miss Martha's grandson. This is War Cry. He was only 16. His brother died last year. He was only 13. This is War Cry. We the people. We're the elected officials. This is War Cry. We need the church. Where's the church? Only on Sundays. Get to the streets, church. We need you out there. This is War Cry. Girl, be gone. Boy, be gone. Mothers crying. Fathers being locked up. Welcome to our reality. Identity crisis. This is War Cry. Oh, they're trying to remove our history off the textbook. Oh, critical race theory? It makes them feel bad. It's our reality. Fake reality shows. We want the real truth. Stay woke. This is War Cry. HBCUs under attack. This is War Cry. Equal pay for what we do. We want a reparation. This is War Cry. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Wait a minute. Is that somebody else they're burying that looks like us? Only 12. This is War Cry. Oh, let us come together and pray for our young people, pray for our communities, pray for our schools, pray for our churches, pray that the government gives us what we need, a fair opportunity. This is War Cry, home of the brave, land of the free. Who's free? Our men are locked up. This is War Cry. Hashtag mothers against gang violence. Hashtag fathers who love their sons. Hashtag what would Jesus do? This is War Cry.
I know who goes before me. I know who stays behind. The God of Israel's army is always by my side.
This is War Cry. We're on the wall.
I know you as a father. I know you as a friend. And I have seen in the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. In every prayer that I am made, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life and now, I surrender now. I give you everything.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. This is War Cry family. Subscribe with us. Be with us in our family and our communication. This is War Cry for our children. That's why I put that on there so you can see that children are crying out for God. Just as we're crying out for them and for justice for everyone, children are crying out for God. Welcome, family. Come on in. This is War Cry. War Cry for the Black woman. War cry for justice. War cry because if we don't cry out, who will? Now, Jesus said that the rocks will cry out if we don't cry out. I don't want no rock to cry out for me. I am a kingdom citizen and I'm going to cry out for the injustices that are taking place. War Cry, urban radio station. Bring in our audience. Bring them in. Bring them in. I am so excited today. I'm very excited today. Very excited about what we're going to talk about in our subject matter today. War cry for the Black woman. Now, before I go on, I just want to tell you about a book that I have. It's called The Conspiracy to Destroy the Black Woman. I don't know if anybody is familiar with this. It's by Michael Porter. But I would tell you to get this book because it has some great stuff in it about us and about different conspiracies that are happening and taking place right in front of our faces. Right in front of our faces, there is a conspiracy to destroy the Black woman. There's a conspiracy to destroy the Black woman in social media. There's conspiracy to destroy the Black woman in sports and all across the board. But we're not opening up our mouth. But as Black women, we're obligated to do a war cry for justice. I am so excited about my audience, who I have, my other panel members, and what we're going to talk about. Now, while you introduce yourself, I just want to ask you a question. So introduce yourself, but answer this question. What does it feel like being a Black woman in 2024? What does it feel like being a Black woman in 2024? Do you feel like you've been discriminated against? Do you feel like you've been mistreated? I mean, they've said a lot of things about us. You know, they've already got us with the angry, quote, Black woman syndrome. Now, I must say I have been angry a lot of times. And I must say we do have a right to be angry, because if our white counterparts, if they get angry, it's just emotions. If we get angry, they try to put us all the way back to slavery. We got a right to open up our mouth for our ancestors. We got a right to call our ancestors' names out and keep them alive. Okay, I'm going to you, Sandra. You first. Introduce yourself, and what does it feel like to be a Black woman in 2024?
Well, my name is Cassandra Pryor, and I am the executive director of a nonprofit, Dear Black Girl Incorporated, and it feels powerful.
Wait, hold it. You know, this is War Cry, so we can do whatever we want to. Why did you name it Dear Black Girl?
Growing up, I was overlooked. Trials and tribulations. I felt like no one hears our story. No one shows up to save us. And it has been put on us that it's our job to save everybody else. And that's just not the way to live. And my life experience had led me, you know, and God gave me my purpose, which is to reach out to other Black girls and be what I needed to them. And to be 100% honest, it's in the name. We are here to support, I breathe, eat, live Black women, Black girls. We're born with a certain strength. We're born with just everything stacked against us. We are sexualized as soon as our breasts grow. I was raised to be seen and not heard. I'm also a fatherless daughter. You know, on my birth certificate where it says father is completely blank. So for me, I used to ask why me all the time, but you know, God said it's supposed to be me. And I was supposed to go through everything that I've been through specifically just to help another Black girl. And I'm very passionate about us. I'm very passionate is just the word. For me, Black girls are everything. God said he chose us. We are the fatherless and the widowed. We are at the bottom of society's totem pole. And even with all of those negatives, I still feel very powerful to be a Black woman. I wouldn't wake up and change it. I wouldn't want to be anything else. Because it's supposed to be me. It's supposed to be us. And we have, listen, we might be shaken. We might bend a little bit, but I don't know not one Black woman who's been broken. And so
What?
I think that I feel very powerful to be a Black woman.
And you know what? You make me feel very powerful to be a Black woman. I've always felt empowered with my Blackness as a woman, even though there have been times that we are always challenged, not because of our Blackness, but sometimes because we are a woman. Now, it's strange that we say that. When we look at the Bibles, Genesis says in 3:20 that Adam called his wife named Eve because she was the mother of all living. Now we know the Garden of Eden was in Africa, so we know that Eve was a Black woman. You know, no matter what society doesn't want us to say, she was a Black woman and she was the mother of all living things. Now, let me ask you another question. How does it feel to be a Black woman in 2024?
My answer is still the same. I still feel even more powerful. I feel like I can honestly say I don't feel necessarily safe, right? I don't feel safe, but I feel secure. I feel empowered. I feel like I'm making a difference. Um, I feel like I can't be beaten.
Okay.
There's just too many resources out here, and too many Black women standing beside me for me to ever feel like I'm lacking. And I know that's a blessing to be able to say, right? And it has not always been this, and it has not always been this easy. But I feel like God is aligning me in the right path, in the right direction. And as long as I have him, then I'm good. So, but that's not to take away from our experiences as a whole and what we're experiencing every day. You know, again, I don't necessarily feel safe, walking down the street or even coming home from the gym. I am more guarded publicly, right? Because I know that if something happens to me and I call the police, no one's coming right away. I know that, the world necessarily doesn't value me, but I value myself and God values me and my sisters value me. And there's always been a Black woman to save me. So I feel still very powerful to be who I am today in 2024.
Yes, Dr. Robinson. Oh my goodness. When I first met this or heard this doctor, this entrepreneur, this historian, I fell in love with her. I was like, I got to know her because and let me tell you, Sandra, you're talking about powerful Black women. Oh my goodness. I got her above Oprah. She is above Oprah, baby, and she's certainly above Beyonce and the Beehive. I got you there. Now, those are Oprah and Beyonce are powerful Black women, but let me tell you something, Dr. Robinson. Woo! I need to get my whistle and blow my whistle because you got it going on. Come on, sister girl. I'm glad that I'm Black because I'm in your side. Come on, Dr. Robinson. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Come on.
I came for this morning. Thank you. So I am Dr. Robinson. I'm an educator, a scholar, historian, a writer. And to answer your question, how does it feel to be a Black woman right now? I'm angry. That's all I can think of. I'm so blood boiling angry. I am fueled every day by rage. And I think it's a righteous rage. I think it's a overdue. And I think it serves a purpose because I don't know what happened to all the warriors in our community. I love when you came out with this war cry and I heard your opening, but we used to have warriors in our community. And the it systematically destroyed those warriors. It destroyed the Black Panther Party. It destroyed our civil rights leaders. It destroyed our revolutionaries. And that spirit has been subdued because of fear, because of suppression, because of the state. State violence has tamped down our warrior spirit. But I feel that that warrior spirit was reborn in me, and it's reborn in many women that I see. I know it's born in us, in our men also. I know our men are warriors and kings. But if our men cannot protect us and defend us, then I feel it is my duty to protect and defend us and to get justice for our ancestors. So I am angry. I am angry that our ancestors are still facing the indignity of having even their remains are not respected. Even their remains are tossed and given to universities, and the people aren't even allowed to bury their bodies. That our ancestors cry out for justice. And I feel that we have an obligation is to seek justice, to restore dignity for our ancestors. And I am angry that it hasn't been done yet, but I am determined that I will use all of the energy in my body to see it done.
Hey, I think I'm gonna raise my hand. Cassandra, let's raise your hand. We're gonna do it. Dr. Patton, raise your hand because we're going to do it. Dr. Patton came on. Introduce yourself and tell us, this is my sister. So introduce yourself and tell us, how does it feel to be a Black woman in 2024? Now, don't go off the boat. Don't go pull up no African slaves from out of the water. But just get to the facts. Let's go, sister girl.
You're muted.
You're muted.
What it means to be a Black woman in America encompasses many things. It doesn't encompass us falling off the boat. It doesn't encompass us not getting our rights. It doesn't encompass white men looking at us as if we're a sex object or a sex symbol. It does encompass.
Wait, hold it. Let me go back because this is War Cry. And this is not the old show. This is not the wives of LA. This is real talk. It's just not only white women, white men looking at us. It's some Black ones that exploiting us too.
Yes, I was going to say that in my next breath. There are men, and the white men as well as the Black men have exploited us and have not respected us and respected who we are and what we have done. We have held down the house, the ship, everything for years and have not gotten the respect that we needed. We have then not looked upon in society, whether it be the track of the white man, the track of the white woman, the track of the Black man, and even some of our own sisters are not even looking at us and seeing the strength and letting us bind together as a unit so we can be strong in what we're doing. We have somehow missed the boat. And the sister here that was talking about what has happened to our civil rights leaders, the people that were in front, something has dissipated that. Something has destroyed that. And we need to get that back to show that there's strength, because there is a lot of us that are strong, but we need to come and be cohesive to one another so we can see the strength that we have always had. We have always been strong. We have.
That's why you have
tenacious.
That's why we have War Cry, which is an urban radio station. See, because let me tell you something. All these other people, I'm not interested in save the raccoons,
the whales,
you know, the whale. White people have all these different things, you know, this and that. But I'm interested in saving our Black girls, saving our Black boys, informing our community of things going on. See, if I was into saving the yellow duck, I would have millions of dollars. You know that, Dr. Robinson, people would pour in money. They would just give me money from every race. But because I'm into the urban stuff, that's why it's hard to get the message out. See, we don't even know when a Black child, a black girl gets kidnapped. Now they got the Ebony Alert and they got the what's the other alert? They got the Ebony Alert and now they have the Amber Alert. The Ebony Alert is the black alert that goes out. But I'm not even so sure of that because that's discriminatory to me too. Will they look for our girls at the same rate? Now, I was telling you guys before, I need you to get this book, The Conspiracy to Destroy the Black Woman by Michael Porter. Let me tell you, the brother lays it down. He lays it down. And I just want to read something from Dr. Porter's book, what he says, because it really moved me. All these chapters really did, really. But he says something here. He says about our 10-year-olds. He says that our 10-year-olds basically now are calling we're raising them to call our young girls bitchs, HOEs, all these skeezers. We're raising them with this language that they're hearing from rap music. So we're not even raising them in a culture to call them queens, to call them ladies. We're raising, and our young girls are responding to these names. They're responding to these derogatory names that's being called. They're saying, well, I'm a good bitch. Well, you know what? I look good as a WHOE, as a HOE. They're responding to this negative language. It's growing up in them. And sometimes they would rather be called that than to be nurtured by calling a queen or a princess. They don't want to be called that. What kind of princess? What kind of queen? Because we're not teaching our kids that. Now we're going to this poem, and I want you guys to tell me what you think about this poem. Engineer, bring the poem up for us. And this is War Cry. And here it is.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. Poetry is not a luxury, it is an obligation. These poems are not a matter of sympathy but survival. This poem is not a matter of sympathy but protection. This poem is not a matter of sympathy but clarification. And I'm not pissed off, I promise. But I am angry as hell. And each day feels like my sacred cycle is coming. So please do not categorize this as a hard time type of thing. I am an African woman. The sun rises and sets on my time, not the one created in this new world. Do not ask me to smile when walking past. If it is your last dying wish, the presence of she is a life and death matter by default. This is an ego trip gone overseas to Kemet. Do not ask me why my face looks angry. As if you cared to do more than mold me, a woman still controlled by your demands and not genuity, all in the name of your God and misogyny. My face looks angry because it is. My sisters have chosen exploitation over understanding, acceptance over accountability. Do you not understand that there is a class of women forced to smile as if their stories do not exist? Do not ask me, can you touch my dreads? These are locks. 42 branches of beautifully placed sources of energy, no sight of colonization or European dreadfulness. This is a negritude movement on my head. Excuse me, Mr. Washington. I'm not interested in your new Negro, but a redemption of the one stripped of its identity to the angry Black woman, only seen as ghetto with the bad attitude and too much mouth for the world. Thank you. Speak your truth. Pop your gum, yell to Zion and back, because the progression of this Babylonian world is built on your philosophies. They bash you, then copy you and sell it like a bad bootlegger. Thank you, Tyler, but we don't need your help. These are not demands. This is a matter of self-preservation. This is an open letter to each person who sees Lapita as nothing more than a beautiful it girl with chocolate skin, as if Black don't mesh well with every color. Save your backlash to how we are only made to be hoes and slaves, as if these truths do not shape us in the same manner that they control you, to the angry Black woman. With enough anxiety and grace, unpack your bags. Find comfort, not complacency in your anger. Look to your neighbor. Say, neighbor, turn on the TV. Get mad, then fight for it. Angry Black women, you are not a puppet for Americans to tell you what, when, and how to feel. Be angry as hell with enough heart to understand where your anger comes from, where your burdens reside, where your heartache, misfortunes, and backaches all come from. You are not a bully or nagging. You are angry as hell, and you have every right to be.
Ashe, ashe, ashe.
Don't hear you.
You're muted.
Dr. Robinson is in your hands. You can
You're
start with your
muted.
presentation.
Oh, sure. I will do that. Absolutely.
It's in your hands. It's in your hands. What did you think about that? Because you came off like she did, angry.
Yes, I am angry, and I felt that. I felt that in my bones. I reminds me of James Baldwin, who says that, you know, if you're relatively conscious in America, if you're a Black person that's relatively conscious, you'll be angry all the time. When you opened up with War Cry, I thought about Ben Crump's book, Open Season, about how there's a genocide on our people. And how can we sit by and not be angry about that? That's infuriating. I don't know if my slides will even play on this screen. It's looking like it doesn't want to. Oh, maybe it will allow me to share my screen. But
Yes, I think the engineer has it. Engineer, could you put our slides up? Is that it right there, or will it? Okay.
you know what? Oh boy, let's see. Oh boy, this is but what I did want to talk about though is the let's see if oh yes, maybe this will play. But I don't think it wants to maybe. Is that me that's sharing that, or is that you?
That's probably engineer. Okay,
Okay,
go ahead.
you could go to the third slide, because what I wanted to talk about was misogyny, and then there is a term that was recently coined around 2015 by a woman named Moya Bailey. It's called misogynoir, and I'm sure you've heard this term. And misogynoir is the idea that women are hated, is misogyny. That's the hatred of women. Misogynoir is the hatred of Black women, and you can go all the way back to Sarah Bartman, who was also called the Venus Hottentot, an African woman who was taken from her Kosa village in southern Africa and displayed in Europe. This is the beginning of the sexualization, the demonization, the pathologizing of Black women and of Black women's bodies in particular. Oh, her buttocks are so large. It must be a sign that she is sexually promiscuous or sexually available, and how this was used in many ways. It was used to inform Victorian culture, where they put bustles under their dresses, and to try to mimic this idea of having a large hips and buttocks. But it was also used in a way to criminalize and dehumanize Black women and Black women's bodies. And misogyny and misogynoir in particular, we can see, if you just I want you to run through those slides, because I don't want to spend a lot of time on them. But misogyny is particularly this hatred of women, and misogynoir is a great term for us to use. You could skip past that because that's a video. But what we have from the beginning of media in this country, you have mammies, you have Jezebels, you have sapphires, you have these images of Black women as stereotypes. And then, as you can see, we have these women. You could stop right there. You had those women that I just tried to show quickly, who have been in the recent years demonized by our culture. Jada Pinkett Smith. Why is she demonized? Because her husband did something and she gets blamed for it, right? This immediate, it's her fault. She's the evil. She's the source of the evil. And the same thing we see with Anita Hill. We didn't listen to Anita Hill. That was decades ago now, 30 years ago now. And I wish we had listened to Anita Hill, but we didn't listen to her. Again, we see this continual demonizing of Black women, that we are seen as the problem, even when men are behaving badly. And you go forward, you see currently you had this issue with Fonnie Willis as the first Black woman ever to be the district attorney of Fulton County, Georgia, where Atlanta is. And she is treated as a Jezebel by the media. And you see this continual dehumanizing and this continual misogynoir, this hatred of Black women. But I wanted specifically to talk about Elder Montgomery, our host, what she's talking about when you said that if we are the creators, right? We are the creators. Our culture was built on Black women, the original woman, the first woman ever in human history, right? All the way back. They can trace all of our mRNA and our DNA back to a Black woman in the Ethiopian highlands in East Africa, the mother of all humanity, right? That's us. And as such, we come from a culture that is creators. We created this world. We created everything we see. We created civilization, literature, history, mathematics, medicine, psychology, religion, spirituality. We created all of it. And we cannot allow the destroyers to come and destroy everything that we created. It is our job to continue to create and to prevent this destruction of the entire world, because in the hands that it's in right now, they would destroy the world. White men would destroy the world if we just let them. And we cannot let them. They will destroy it all. And we have built it. For millions of years, we have built it. On our blood, sweat, and tears, we built this world. And we built it to continue. We built it to prosper. We built it to thrive. And they would destroy it all. So when you mentioned about the turtles and saving the whales, our culture, our spirit, our Black woman energy is the energy that would save all of life, all life, the earth itself. We will save it all. You save Black women, you save it all. You save it all. Saving young Black girls, as Cassandra is talking about, saving our young Black girls saves all life. We save all life. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Combahee River Collective. This was a group of Black women who got together in the 70s. And they said that they believe that the foundation of saving our world is in Black women. Oh, you could stop it right there, because I'm going to just say that quickly. And about how we really free ourselves from this condition that we are currently in. I truly believe that we have been so abused, so dehumanized. We have been so commodified. We have been turned into nothing but tools for this system. And we have to resist it. We have to resist this system. We have to resist this commodification. We have to resist this dehumanization. We have to reach back and get and reclaim our humanity, not for ourselves, but also for our ancestors, for their dignity, for to continue the struggle, to give purpose and meaning to their sacrifice. We have to continue to struggle. And so we have to fight. We have to resist the system. And I wanted so much to share this Rest is Resistance book, because our ability to stop working our bodies to the bone, to stop allowing ourselves to be tools of the system, to stop allowing ourselves to be used over and over to make profit for a system that has no intention other than to destroy the entire planet and every living thing on it. And all of us, to destroy all of us. We have to stop being complicit. We have to stop allowing it. We have to stop allowing this exploitation, this sexualization, this horrible treatment and destruction of our minds, our bodies, and our spirits, of our children, of our elders. We have to stop it. It's up to us. And one of the things that we can do is rest. And when we just stop working so much for the man, stop working so much for the system to make a dollar. When we just stop and we actually allow ourselves to go inward, to have spiritual moments, to dream, to go into a dream state, to have actual sleep and rest, which they've told us is a luxury in America. You can't sleep. I live in New York. It's a city that never sleeps. But when we allow ourselves to actually have deep rest and relaxation, we can get in touch with that inner spirit that's been in us for millions of years, that's been with us since the beginning of time. We are the original people on the planet. We are the mothers of the planet. We are the mothers of humanity, and we can tap into that deep ancestral wisdom when we finally allow ourselves to rest, to sleep.
Dr. Robertson, let me just come in and ask you a question. Most of us, and we're talking about Black women, we don't know how to rest because we've been so programmed to not only, I don't even know if we know how to be Black women. Because guess what? We wear so many dual roles. We're mothers, we're wives, and when we're not wives, we're head of households, we're working, we take abuse. Because once you're a woman that's a head of household, you take abuse from your employers because it's only you providing. We've been mistreated, we've been low rated, we've been downgraded. And so when you say rest, I don't even know if we know how to rest. You know, they say things like angry Black women. Well, we should be angry. All our men are locked up. We should be angry because all our men are the lowest or the last hired people. So when we say rest, I don't even know how to get to that portion where we just say, whoo, let me just calm down for a minute. Let me just calm down. Because rest is a hard thing in the Black community, especially with the Black woman. Think about your mother. Everybody think about your mothers. And think about how many jobs your mothers had. Did you ever see her really rest? Now, there's a difference between sleeping and resting. And I'm going to let Dr. Robinson tell you that. But yeah, we seen them sleep. We seen them sit down. But it's a difference because even in their sleep, they were still thinking. Back at you, Dr. Robinson.
I agree. And that is how the system has really done us a disservice. We never get to rest. This is what they've done to us. How can we ever plan our escape? How can we ever plan our liberation when we don't have any time to rest? This is how they keep us constantly on the grind. And it's a very tough question, but I think we don't need as many things as we think we need. The idea that we need all this, that we need money, so they keep us on this grind all the time. They always showing us things on social media. We need to have what the other person has. We have to keep up with the Joneses. Even in our relationships, we have to be compared to white people in their relationships. We have to have all the material things. At least we think we have to have those things, but we don't. Well, we can survive in community. I truly believe I have one child. I have a daughter. I had to raise her alone, but I didn't raise her alone. I raised her in community. She had many mothers. She had many fathers. We have to come together. When we need food, there's food. We have to work together in community as Black women, sharing our resources with each other so that we don't feel like we have to work all the time. We don't feel like we need to be always hustling because we always have to look out for ourselves. I think that what we really need to find is a way to share our resources with each other as women. Even if it's a small group of 5 women, we get together, we just make sure that our needs are met. And all of these luxuries we don't need. It's all garbage anyway. It ends up in the landfill, and that just ends up polluting the oceans. We don't need all this trash.
And they're telling us now what beauty looks like. See, now our culture is telling us that you got to have this type of body. Your butt's got to be this big. Your breasts got to be this size. This the size of your nose. So now Black women are not even liking themselves. They are taking what they had and now they're trying to cultivate it. And truthfully, and white women are trying to look like us. And I don't know who we're trying to look like. Somebody that we want to be like. But we need to find out who we are. Now I'm going to open it up for Cassandra. Cassandra, do you have a question for Dr. Robinson before we go on? I see you there.
Pause on that slide right there. Pause right there because I want to read that when we.
Okay. Cassandra, you have a question? Any question?
I don't think I necessarily have a question. I definitely agree with everything Dr. Robinson said. But I think I'm like in the middle because I definitely respect my elders, right? And like everything that they have going on. But being in the younger generation, the question that you asked was the how, right? Like how, I find that we have these conversations all the time, but when it comes down to doing the actual work, I don't see anybody doing the work. And I'm a person who believes in starting small. So you're right. You have to have community, right? But that's also another layer because it matters where you live. Like I'm from the hood. My community isn't a woman that I would trust with my children because she doesn't take care of her own. So we also have to think about environments when we are just, throwing out solutions, because it's different for everyone. It's not the same as having, like I have 2 children and my children's father passed away, but I was also a teen mom. I grew up in the crack era. So community looks different. And today in 2024, we can say all day, there's no community, right? So like outside of myself, there's a Black girl walking down the street with no coat, pregnant, and no one is doing anything to help her. So it's I think that I agree, but I think that it's great to have these conversations, but it falls on deaf ears when we're not giving solutions, actual viable solutions during these conversations. People are listening and they have hope, but at the same time, I can see my 20-year-old self listening to you saying, ain't no way, because rent got to be paid. And money matters. It matters so much that eggs are almost $10. So we can't just throw out these, we got to be community, we got to stick together, we have to, if we have to feed each other. There's so much pain and there's so much discourse, there's so much distrust, there's so much hurt within our communities, right? So this, and again, this is one of the reasons why I started my nonprofit. And the Black women that I meet, they side-eye me all the time. They, they side-eye me like, what do you want in return for this? Like, I don't want anything. I just want to be there for you, right? And then that starts. And, my goal when I started my organization was to help 10 girls. That's all I needed to do, because if I help that one, then that one will help another. And in turn, somebody will hopefully show grace, and that 10 actually turned into a couple hundred. And now I have a team of people, but somebody has to be willing to be the example. Somebody has to be willing to do the work. And you can't just say, hey, save money, put it where? Build community. How? So my question, Dr. Robinson, for you would be, because I do agree with everything that you said, right? And the question is how, right? So, but it has to be very direct. How does a person who lives in poverty, who is surrounded by drugs, crime, who's assaulted when they walk out of their door, who's harassed, and then lives in that neighborhood as this woman, but every other woman lives the same way. We are scared. So how do I build community, Dr. Robinson, if I'm coming from that environment?
Wow. That's a real, I'm really glad that you shared that, because it's a very real perspective. It's a reality. And I certainly don't have an answer for how we can create community everywhere, because it's different everywhere. I know it's local. I know in my local community, when I had a mother that was retired after 30 years, and she loves children. She just loves children. And so she started doing after school help. She started doing it at the library and just helping kids. She was a retired teacher. She worked with kids. She knew how to help them with their homework. She just helped them with their homework after school. And all these children came, and a lot of children that were experiencing homelessness. Some of them were in shelters. Some of them had fires in their homes. Some of them were in foster care, and they would come to the library and she would help them with their homework. And then that built out. And now she's been doing this for years now, and she doesn't get paid for it. She doesn't get paid a cent for it. She lives on her retirement. And there are resources in our community. A lot of times it is our elders who have a little extra time. There are also people who have a little extra resources, and we have to bring them into the fold too. We feel impoverished, but we're not always as impoverished as we think. We have access to resources that people in other parts of the world would kill for, right? We have some resources that we are able to utilize, and there are people in our community that are able to that are willing to volunteer and willing to use their time. And so now, this little program that they have, we get some funding, a very small amount of funding from the local municipal. We get some of that summer youth money, so we were able to hire some young people in the summer to come and run a little summer program. And there are just ways, and we're always not don't always have enough money, but we're able to then just keep that system going. And because people see it, it teaches the kids that they have a place they feel like they can trust. They see, it's by example, they see. I was very fortunate to have an example of two parents actually that were very community oriented. So I've seen it. And I know that there are people who are not just out to make a dollar, who are not just there just to make money off of you, just to exploit. And so you have to see it though, and you have to be a part of it. And when we can be that role model and show by example to the young people that we're here for you. We're not here just to get a check. We're here to help you. We're here because we love you and we share that love. And love is an inexhaustible resource. Love is a resource that we can give freely. We can love each other freely. And when we do it, it's always so unexpected but surprising to see that the resources come. I mean, we get donations and stuff. We get donations for.
Let me come in. Let me come in, Dr. Robinson. I want to tell you how we can help. We can help because we have Cassandra here. And we see what she's doing as a young person. So you know how we help? We gravitate to her because her first idea was to help 10 kids. Now it has increased. So we put our resources beside somebody who's actually doing it in the hood, in urban America, not suburban, but urban America, then we can build on it. And then she will be contagious. Then little satellites can begin to take place and take off in our deprived community. That's how we help. We got to get behind her to help. And then when we push her, she pushes other communities. I'm sorry, I had to say that because that's how we help. When I first met her, I want to help. Period. What do you need? And she's down the line now. A lot of times we throw money, but we need the ministry of presence there. She needs someone to walk beside her with wisdom as an older woman. Come on here, somebody. I'm not putting my age out there, but as a mother figure to show the people she's working with that we still got Black women of integrity in our neighborhoods. It doesn't have to be my neighborhood. Her neighborhood is my neighborhood. We all from the hood. Come on here, somebody. Come on here. So I'm sorry I had to come in, but that's what we do, Dr. Robinson.
Yes, that's what we do. Ashe, 100%. That's what we do.
That's what we do. That's what we do.
We help you, sister. We help each other. Yeah.
Right. We're gonna help you. We're gonna help you. You know, we've got enough wisdom on this line between three of us among ourselves here that we can push you and help you and advise you and be with you and do everything you need to push you to the next dimension. And Sandra, I'm sorry, but I got to say it because if you're doing that, we all need to do it. Dr. Patton, what do you think about it? You have any questions?
Well, what you said is correct. I agree with a lot of things, but I think what was stepped upon is that, and you answered that, we need to, when we think about how we're going to help our communities, when we think about that our sisters and our children are afraid to walk into the community, when we think about that, when we see that there's someone over here that's doing this, that we all, as you say, have to gravitate towards her because it'd be contagious. When we think about, we have to also talk and maybe have go door to door. I'm always thinking about people would go into the school system and talk to the children to let them know that this stuff is available. Now, the issue is a lot of times in the school system, things are available, but it's available to the teachers and they get paid, the teachers that are there. What our children need is they need to see people outside of the school that are willing to help and willing to do. People outside of the school that are in their community that are doing many, many positive things. And I think that that is the key for the success for our children. When we see this young lady doing this, we need to gravitate, like you say, towards her. And outside the community, the school is in a box. They don't want to allow too many people to come in to touch the kids' lives. But this is the situation situation, when we have things like this in our community, that we will be able to touch our children's lives and not isolate it to just the school. And that's the problem, because we only see those teachers, those situations, though there's not another perspective, because the perspective that this young lady is that she's in the community. That makes all the difference of how our children perceive things.
Yes.
You're muted.
You're muted.
She's not in the community, she's in the hood.
Yeah.
See, we got to go to the hood. You understand that? We got to go to Bed-Stuy, do or die. We got to go to Bed-Stuy, do or die. We got to go to Brownsville. Never will run, never will. You run. We got to go over to the Polos houses over in Manhattan. We got to go to Boogie Down Bronx. We got to go to where the need is. Our communities could be perfectly okay, lily white mixed, and we can have everything we need, but until we go to the people and let it spread. See, I'm tired of just saying, well, you know what? There's no kids on my block. They all graduated and went to Harvard. Mr. Jones' son is a lawyer. Miss Mary's son is a nurse. No, I want to go to the kids that are being challenged to let them know I love you. This skin makes us kin. This skin makes us kin. Period. That's where we got to go. We got to put on our blue jeans and our sweatshirts and with our sneakers on instead of coming in these clothes that they can't identify with. We need to go to them. Now, I am not saying negative when I say the hood, because I came from the hood, okay? All of us got somebody who came from the hood. Period. So I can identify with my people. Our girls are in a crisis.
They sure are.
Amen.
Our girls are dying prematurely. Our girls are growing up too fast.
Yes,
they're being exploited. Look at the statistics on human trafficking.
It's horrible.
I was talking to a social worker. Well, I was on the program with a social worker. I took a class on intergenerational trauma. And one of the things they said was that when they interviewed some of the human traffickers, and then they interviewed some of the people that these girls were sold to, one of the things that one of the white men said that had bought this little black 13-year-old girl was that the reason he wanted her and her blackness was because she was a different color from his daughter. Now that's a pervert statement. Period. So it makes it less evil if I do it to a black. That's right. That's right. So we've got to do something to change that. I don't care if it's one of us. Only one person died for us and saved the whole world. I don't care if it's 12 of us. It was 12 men that changed the whole world and turned upside down. We got to begin from somewhere. And I want to begin with dear girl, dear black girl. I mean, we failed our black girls. We failed them. We got to come to it. We failed them. They don't want, you know what? Our girls don't want to grow up and be like their mothers. Our boys don't want to grow up and be like their fathers. Half their fathers, they don't even know. And it's okay. It's really okay. But where are the role models at? I can go off on a tangent, but dear black girl, I'm feeling you.
Thank you.
I'm feeling you. Okay, Dr. Robinson, continue with your review on the exploitation of the black woman who don't even know she black. Some of us bleach our skin. We don't even want to be black. I don't want to go that way. Let it go.
I said go.
Well, we're talking about these young girls, and if they're mothers, I mean, I'm their mothers. They're mothers. I'm their mother's age. They're getting the butt implants. We talked about that. The skin lightening.
Excuse me. Why would they want butt implants?
I have no idea.
Well,
I can tell you, it's a lack of love. Our homes are broken. And if there's nobody telling me that I'm beautiful, that I am loved, if there's nobody looking at me and pouring into me in a positive way, and only so every child you see, every toddler you see has a tablet in front of them. Mm-hmm. There's no hugs and kisses. And I'm being real because I mentor I have a 12-year-old girl with a birth control IUD in her arm right now. It's very real. I have girls that I meet, and when I go to give them a hug, they cringe. And so social media, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, is telling me what I need to be. Like you said earlier, they're telling us how to build our bodies. And so when you have a child, a little girl, specifically a little Black girl who doesn't have a father at home, or maybe they do have both parents, but both parents are young. We're far removed from you guys' generation and in the community that you speak of, right? So you got to understand that these girls are not being told that they're beautiful. They're not being told that they're loved. They're not being accepted for who they are, how their skin grows, how their hair is, none of the above. So ideally,
but let me ask you something, Cassandra. I got to come in. It's amazing that sometimes I think that Black women can't save money, especially young people. But these Black girls are saving $10,000 for these butt implants and going over to the Dominican Republic and then doing it.
It's not that expensive, right? Like that's why they're going to another country, because it's not that expensive, but also the value
look at the safety risk. Look at the safety risk. Look at the safety risk they're taking.
It doesn't matter to them, because if I am seeking love and validation and I don't have it as I am, I'm going to do whatever I have to do so that I am accepted. It's for acceptance. I'm just saying from a young person's mind, it's really, if you talk to them and have an open, you will be blown away by how much love they lack.
That's why I wanted you on War Cry. That's why I wanted you on War Cry, because you bring that which we don't have. You bring that youth definition to us, because we'll sit here and say, oh, well, everything is nice. We'll just live in our little cupcake suburban area and volunteer at the library. No, we got some real problems, and we need to do more than that.
I challenge each of you to compliment every little Black girl you see and watch. It's unheard of to be called beautiful. Like you said earlier, I'm a bitch. I'm sorry, my language. I'm a this, I'm a that. Yeah. I'm everything but the child of God. I'm everything but a beautiful person. I'm everything but smart. I'm everything but intelligent. I am told that I need to shake my body or do this or wear this in order to survive and live and eat. I have young girls doing things that you wouldn't even imagine for $40.
Yeah.
Inside of the school bathroom, inside of the staircase. And then as a single mother, I have no choice but to work. I have to work to pay this $3,000 rent because there's no help.
Right.
So I can't be a mom in work and put food on the table. So my kid has become a latchkey kid, and you got to be responsible and do what I say. But how many kids are going to do what their parent says if their parent is not there? So again, it's layered. Right. There's no easy answer, but it's not as simple as y'all think. But the easiest answer is that our children are lacking love, and the adults are too busy. They're too scared. A lot of adults are scared of these children. They won't even correct them in the streets anymore because they want to make it home to their families.
But why are we
you got that right?
Children that we love them. Why are we not seeing? Why is that? That doesn't cost us anything. Why are we not?
I don't have the answer to why adults aren't doing. Like, for people tell me, what you're doing.
Well, let me come in. Why are we not even speaking to our children when we see them walking down the street? We're afraid. When we see 4 boys standing on the corner, we're afraid that they're gang dealers, and we don't speak to them. We never say, hi, young man. How you doing? We never say, oh my goodness, hi young girl, how you doing? We never even speak to our kids anymore. You know what? We're too busy. We're either on our phone, we're too busy. We don't rest.
We have the power to change. We all have the power to change.
Yeah. That's why I said I challenge y'all to speak to every young kid you see. I challenge you.
Yeah, back at you, Dr. Robinson. Back at you. Back at you, Dr. Robinson. Continue on.
I do that instinctively all the time. And I do see that it matters. And I have to repeat it all the time. But it's just instinctive. I don't really think about it. I call them all beautiful or princess or gorgeous or what have you on the young men all the time. And we do have to speak to them, I think it really does matter, but it needs to be pervasive. We need to send a message. We need to pamphlet or something to get this message out that we all need to be embracing and sharing, showing love to our young people. We absolutely have to. And it's also the messaging. They don't need to be looking at the social media all the time, but it's the messaging. You have, the lighter you are, the prettier you are. You have to be mixed to be beautiful. All of these messages that they're getting all the time, we can counter them. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing said a long time ago that if she had Oprah Winfrey's money, she would put on a parade every year with the blackest Black people she could find, the most beautiful Black people on the planet, and let them see it. I mean, all the blue Black people, and let the world see it, let our children see it. So we have to continue, it's subliminal. We have to continue to give them these messages and let them see how beautiful that deep melanated skin is, how beautiful we are in our natural colors, in our natural clothes, in our natural environment. But if we don't keep, it's all that subliminal. They know by the time they're 5 that Black is the undesirable, that they want the white guy over the Black guy. They know that already before they even get to school. They've got that message. So we have to be very vigilant to counter that message. It's like we're up against a beast. It's like we're up against a gorilla and we're like a tiny little mouse. We just have to be vigilant because that gorilla is real. And that's the social media. I hate to say that. I don't use it. And I know my daughter does use it. And I think that it is one of the worst things that we have right now as our kids.
Because let me tell you, not just social media, but guess what? The reality shows, the fake reality shows that says it's okay to go from man to man to man. It's okay to go with your sister's husband. It's okay to sleep with various people. The images that social media and the media has put on us makes the images that our young girls see something negative. They want to be like that. Go ahead, Dr. Robinson. Go ahead.
I think we're letting the Black man off the hook. And you know what? Since why do we have to do that? We don't have to continue to do that. They need to be called out for their behaviors because a lot, like you said, they're the ones that are sexualizing and looking at the young girls behinds all the time. I saw something popped up here about Kanye West giving Kim Kardashian a proposal after she got her butt implant. I mean, these are the things that we're allowing Black men to get away with. And I recently had a long discussion with a group of professional, educated Black men with college degrees and jobs, and they're in a fraternity, and they are going to the Dominican Republic to engage in sex tourism and spend their money to give to and exploit young brown Black people, women and girls in the Dominican Republic. And this is acceptable. And this is not acceptable.
It's not acceptable. And we have sororities that need to be engaging in urban communities. I understand the importance of community service and giving out food, but we need you to engage in conversations and be role models. By the time we get to college and pledge a sorority, our norms are already formed. We need to go and help these young girls know that they are beautifully and wonderfully made, and they was created for more. Go ahead.
We need to have these young men, all of the Black men, to understand that we are not just sex objects or objects for their sexual gratification. They need to be stopped because that behavior is perpetuated and it's rewarded. They're rewarded for this behavior. So that.
But Dr. Robinson, I got to call you on the carpet. I got to call you on the carpet. We are exploiting our bodies as sex objects. We're doing it ourselves. Now, maybe not me, but our young girls are exploiting their bodies as sex objects. Oh, come on, Sandra.
The object of what? They are the object of the. It's a demand. It's a demand.
Right. Yes. And
okay. Can I?
Yes.
So I wholeheartedly disagree. I'm not going to put the exploitation on Black girls. The reason why is because even when you go shopping for a little girl, everything is tight, crop tops. So it's not that we're choosing. I'm gonna speak as a young person, right? Like, it's not that I'm choosing. I don't personally dress like that, but I don't think they choose to wear vulgar, exploited clothes. But a little girl, as soon as they get breasts, it's sexualizing her household, like cover up. So I disagree with the girls doing it for themselves. It's all that we're taught and it's all that we know. And even a mom like myself trying to shop for my daughter, it's very hard because I can't even get a full shirt anymore. So I definitely will not put any blame on Black girls choosing the exploitation, especially.
I got to come at you. I got to come at you again. Yes, it is Black girls who choose exploitation. Let me tell you something. A Black girl could go get a pair of jeans and cut it all the way up to her and walk outside. That's choosing to wear what you want to do. Now, maybe not all of them, but some of these Black girls or women in general, they like those that attention they get. I'm sorry, they like attention. Some of them.
No, we all, hold on. Every Black woman, I think every female naturally would want to be called beautiful and wants attention, right? It's a right attention and a wrong attention. But if we're lacking education in the home and we don't have options, I still have to push back and disagree that we're choosing, because I should be okay to wear a workout outfit and go to the gym without a man. What I wear and what I choose to wear does not deem or make it appropriate for you to sexualize me and or harass me. I cannot agree
I have
with
a good
you.
example.
No, I agree with you. Okay, go ahead, Dr. Robinson. This is hot.
I have a good example for that, because it is our culture, and we live in a rape culture. We live in this Western civilization where they have treated Black women, treated all women as objects. That is a part of the culture, but it's not necessarily have to be that way. Do you know that in Africa, where we come from, women could walk around topless and not be sexualized? That's how safe they were. That's cultural. It wasn't about how much of their body was exposed that gave men permission to behave badly. The men behave badly because that's in their sick minds. And a lot of us are suffering from intergenerational sexual trauma. There was rape in Black communities from the time that we were kidnapped in Africa.
We all know trauma is passed down.
That's hundreds of years of sexual violence that we are now seeing pathologized in our community. We see the Bill Cosbys and the R. Kellys. This is a pathology where we have been for generations sexualized in this way, and it's just playing out because we got no treatment for that. And the men need to get some treatment for that. The Bill Cosbys and the R. Kellys, they need treatment. They need help, because it was not just the women that were raped on those plantations. Don't believe that for a minute. It was not just women that were raped on those plantations.
No, men was raped too.
It was little boys and it was grown men. And so we all need treatment. We cannot take 400 years of sexual trauma, violence, and rape and never get any treatment for it and think that we're out here behaving sexually healthy. We're not. We need help.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I agree. Let's go back to the presentation. I love this. I mean, we are laying it out there. Black women in charge, empowered. I love it. Go ahead to the presentation, Dr. Robinson.
I don't have any more for my presentation for you. I think that we have covered it all. I think we've covered it all. There was one other thing that she said. I just thought I would recommend this book, This Rest is Resistance, because she really lays it on. She's a minister. She comes from a Christian tradition, but she really lays on the importance and the value of rest. And one of the things she says is that this resonated with me so deeply, is that our ancestors, the women on plantations, worked every day from sunup to sundown. They worked throughout their entire pregnancies until the moment they gave birth. And after they gave birth, they went right back to work. They never got any break. They never got any rest. And because of all the work that they did, we should not have to work. And I mean that with all sincerity, because this entire country, this entire economy was built on their labor and their work. We should not have to work. We owe it to them as a form of reparations to rest. All the rest that they did not get, we owe it to us. And I have found that even when I rest, it's weird how the money game flows, how it comes. It's not always about hustling to get the money. Sometimes you just got to let it come to you. And by resting, I found that there is a debt. There is a debt that they owe us, and we can collect on that debt. It's a karmic debt. It's a spiritual debt. You might not see it, know it's tangible. You got to have faith that it's there, that we are owed this. That our ancestors are owed this. We are owed this moment of rest. For all, this was the quote here. If capitalism was from the plantation, then I will rest for my ancestors. Okay, it's a form of reparations for them. I will rest for my ancestors. And I
And
think that
our ancestors really went through a lot. Our
yes,
ancestors went through a lot for us to come to this point, and we don't even say their names. We
Yeah.
don't even try to remember them. We've got to come to a point that we can say our ancestors' name, that we can call our mother's names out. Because guess what? Unless we keep it in the air, they will be forgotten about. And we have to teach the younger generation how to love themselves and
Yes.
how to support each other. We got girls just as viciously in gangs as
That's
boys
good.
are. Why?
Yeah.
And some of the gangs, girl gangs, are more
Worse than the
vicious.
boys.
And what are they looking for? Love.
Yeah.
And where are they finding love? In all the wrong places.
Yes.
And what's our responsibility? To reach back and help someone. See, we're too busy reaching forward to build our own self up that we can't reach back and pull somebody up with us. Because guess what? We think we got it made. We think, hey, it's all about me. I got it made. I got my Gucci bag. I got my red bottoms, and I made it. So everybody else should make it. But everybody else don't have the same opportunity. So for those who don't have the same opportunity, as Sandra said, she started off with 10 girls. I want to help 10 people. That's the banner I run on too. I just want to help somebody to make it up. Period. I want to help somebody to know that there's a better way. Not me, but I want to do it for them. See, we got to leave a legacy for our people. We have no legacies for our people to even grab onto. We got to live a legacy. So that's what War Cry is about. It's living a legacy. So at this moment, I just want you to say your ancestor's name. Say your grandmother's name. Say your aunt's name. Say your great grandmother's name. Say someone's name to put it in the air because they still matter and they still live within us. It was struggles made for the Black woman. You know yourselves, we are still being discriminated against.
Every day.
You know yourself.
Say their names so I can hear the names. Can we take turns to say their names so I
yes,
can
yes, yes. We're gonna take turns saying the names. Period. We're gonna take turns saying the names of those heroes that was in our lives. And I appreciate each and every one of you because guess what? You matter. You matter, and the work you do matter. Okay, Minister Travel will have you say the names of the legacies of the women that have affected your life and molded you.
Okay. Irma, my mother, my mother-in-law, Crystal, Christina, what's her name? Jordan. And she always had a funny name. We used to tease her about her name, Jordan. We Ella, Eva, Eloquist, Verna, Sarah.
Now, what did you learn from your mother? What did you learn from your mother?
Well, my mother worked 2 jobs. She was divorced. She worked 2 jobs. And I learned to be strong. I learned to deal with the adversities. I learned not to give up. I learned not to let go. I learned to hold on. I learned to, even when they say no, I learned to come back to know that will turn that no into a yes. I learned for some people not to degrade me and debase me because I am a woman. I've learned that. My mother was was a very strong woman. She wasn't an educated woman, but she worked very hard. And she said to me and my sister, I didn't have a choice about what I did, but I want you to go to school so you will have choices. She said, I didn't have choices, but I want you to have choices in your life and you to do the right thing in your life, that you could be able to be strong. You always need choices. She said, my generation was fixed where there was nothing there for us. We had to take the little tidbits and try to make, like my mother said, $1 out of 99 cents, which was hard to do at many, many times. But she said, I want you to have choices in your life so you can be successful in a way that I couldn't be.
Okay. Okay. I'll go next. I learned from Big Mama. I think everybody can identify with a Big Mama. I learned from Little Mama, who was Big Mama's daughter, which was my grandmother. Mother. I learned from my Aunt Estelle. Everybody got Aunt Estelle's in their family. I learned that, guess what? My great grandmother, my great 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 grandmother was a slave. And she bore my grandmother, which was Viola. And she told us all the things that her mother told her. And my grandmother told me all the things that her mother told her. And my mother has given me wisdom on how to fight. See, my mother was a cultivator because she was what the norm thought back then looked good, high yellow, high cheekbones. She got to go to places that some of our darker sisters didn't go to. You know what I mean? So she would come back and tell me and take me to those same places. So I learned how to be resilient. To be resilient, a word that I don't think Black people really understand. To keep going even though the odds may not be for you. Resilient. So yes, put their names out there. Strong Black women, not perfect, but knowledgeable about who they were. Cassandra.
My turn. My mother, Lynn Smalls, and my grandmother, Cassandra Pryor. And my list would end right there. That's how far removed I am. But they are two of the most self-preserving women I've ever met. I got a lot of my softness from them. So, my mom's
softness. Oh my God.
I've
you are a lion. You are a lion. You're lying.
No, I'm not. My mother loved me, hugged me, kissed me. My grandmother, they poured life into me. They told me I was beautiful. They put the battery in my back, and they did it softly. Because we don't have to be taught and loved hard all the time.
That's right.
So I'm very proud to say that my grandmother and my mother taught me softness. And they taught me how to nurture. So I owe that a lot to them. That I may not have the resting part down, but I have the preservation part. So I am grateful to Cassandra Pryor and Lynn Pryor.
Absolutely. I am so proud of you. And I hope one day I could be on that list as a loudmouth that walked side by side with you, because you are a wonderful Black woman. Okay, Dr. Robertson.
Okay, my great grandmother, Ellen Johnson. My grandmother, Jean Johnson. My great great grandmother, Octavia Booth. My mentors, Mary Baird, Amanda Houston, Carlene Polite. And I always say all the mothers and all the fathers whose names I don't know, those whose names I know and those whose names I do not know. I am thankful. I'm so grateful that they taught me to fight, that they taught me to love, because I think love is the struggle. Love is the beautiful struggle. And to just continue to fight. They were dignified. One of the best lessons they ever told me is never let them take your dignity from you or show them that you've lost your dignity. So to fight with dignity, and to keep our crowns on, and to love each other, to love ourselves, and to love each other. I wanted to also share that we talked about all these things that I'm calling this misogynoir, all these things that are out here hating us. But the one thing that was very uplifting for me this year or in the last 12 months, was the Color Purple release, the new movie that was out, and the book in general by Alice Walker. I feel like that is an expression of love. And we have art, we have poetry, like the poem that you played in the beginning. Yeah. We have visual art, we have dance, we have theater, we have music. These are our creative arts where we as Black women can share our expression of that self-love. It can go even beyond those 10 people that we touch and that we hold their hands, but our art and our creativity can go beyond generations, even for even decades. It can go and it can change minds and change hearts. We have those Nina Simone songs, we have that Aretha Franklin, we have those messages of self-love that still are with us today. So I think that we have to put put our energy into that creative art. One of the, you know, we mentioned Beyonce earlier, but that beautiful, some of those beautiful expressions of Black love that I saw coming from her, those are important. Those are very important. They're crucial that we embrace those. Black people are beautiful. We are beautiful. Black women are beautiful. We have to keep that message going. And I think that our art is one of the best ways that we have to really share that and try to break through the noise.
And another thing too, I want to add to it, the oral translations. We've got to pass the oral stories down to our children and our children's children about who we are as a people. We can't allow the oppressor to tell our story.
No.
We can't allow the oppressor to be the voice that our young girls and young men hear. We've got to rise up and let them know where we came from. And once they know where we came from, that we was kings and queens and we owned lands and we discovered things. And that's important because our Black children, period, they don't understand their heritage. They're lost because they're disconnected from the trauma that actually took place and knowing where the trauma came from. And now the white media is trying to silence that. So our voices must be raised up, and we must support organizations that support our culture. We must support it. This is War Cry, and we've had a great time, and we had a great community. I love you guys. Give me one word before we leave, and I'll start it off. Endurance. One word. Sandra?
Inspire.
Sandra?
Inspire.
Okay, one word. One word, Doctor. Okay, one word. One word, Trevor.
Strength.
Okay, this is War Cry, another great neighborhood, another great community. Thank you, ladies. Black power, women power, girls are the great. War Cry, join us next. You won't see this nowhere else. This is War Cry. We're fighting for our children.
Amen.
This is War Cry. We're on the wall crying out for our children, our communities, our schools, our churches, our families. This is War Cry. Welcome to our reality. Gun violence, Chicago, Philly, Detroit, New York, Atlanta, just to name a few. Our Black children are dying day by day. This is War Cry. Police brutality. Hands up! Don't move. I can't breathe. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag All Lives Matter to Christ. This is War Cry. Drugs, rape, mass shootings, school violence. This is War Cry, galvanizing people to pray for our children and to take action. Let's march on Washington. We want prayer back in school. This is War Cry, candles, memorials in every corner in our neighborhood. Who died this weekend? Oh no, not Miss Martha's grandson. This is War Cry. He was only 16. His brother died last year. He was only 13. This is War Cry. We the people. We're the elected officials. This is War Cry. We need the church. Where's the church? Only on Sundays. Get to the streets, church. We need you out there. This is War Cry. Girl, be gone. Boy, be gone. Mothers crying. Fathers being locked up. Welcome to our reality. Identity crisis. This is War Cry. Oh, they're trying to remove our history off the textbook. Oh, critical race theory? It makes them feel bad. It's our reality. Fake reality shows. We want the real truth. Stay woke. This is War Cry. HBCUs under attack. This is War Cry. Equal pay for what we do. We want a reparation. This is War Cry. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Wait a minute. Is that somebody else they're burying that looks like us? Only 12. This is War Cry. Let us come together and pray for our young people, pray for our communities, pray for our schools, pray for our churches, pray that the government gives us what we need, a fair opportunity. This is War Cry, home of the brave, land of the free. Who's free? Our men are locked up. This is War Cry. Hashtag mothers against gang violence. Hashtag fathers who love their sons. Hashtag what would Jesus do? This is War Cry.
I know